I've been teaching English for about 31 years.
I started in 2006.
I've been teaching English for 15 years.
Just over 20 years.
Oh gosh, probably nearly 40 years.
About 15 years, yeah.
I've been teaching English since 1993.
Around 14 years.
Well over 15 years.
So yes, quite a long time.
I've been working for TEFL Org from the very beginning when it started in 2008.
Not very long at all. I've only done 3 courses. I've got more coming up. I'm looking forward to those. So yeah, not very long at all.
I started in about 2012, so we're going on 7 years now.
Almost since I started, 10 years now. I think I was the first online tutor after Thomas. Thomas started and then I started.
5 years.
It's just crossed 10 years, I believe.
I worked for TEFL for about 8 of those.
Not that long, about 18 months. Yeah, I do the courses in Belfast.
About 7 to 8 years, I believe. Yes.
If I'm honest, I didn't really know what else to do at the time, and I'm really glad that my cousin called me and got me a job working in a summer school where he worked, because it led to where I am now and doing lots of nice things and having worked all around the world really. So kind of by accident, but a really, really happy accident.
Well, I originally was travelling in South America, and I really thought it'd be a great way to travel but also to do some productive work as well, and I just got a bug once and started doing it. I really enjoyed it.
I started teaching English in Madrid. I basically went to Madrid, I didn't have any work, and someone approached me and said, hey, do you want to teach English? And I had a go at it, and I loved it, and I've never looked back since then.
Well, I went travelling to Asia, and I stopped off in Hong Kong, broke, and I had done a TEFL course before I had left on my travels, and within a few days after working in a restaurant maybe for a week and not liking it, I decided that I'd try to teach English. So I got a job within a few days, and that's where I started, and I liked it and I continued.
Truth be told, I don't remember. I fell into teaching more than anything else. I don't remember growing up wanting to be a teacher, but I think it was right place, right time, a desire to travel, and a desire to have a career that involved people. My ultimate nightmare is being stuck in an office all day.
I first started teaching in a mainstream situation, actually with some special needs, and one of the things that was coming up over there as well was a lot of kids with English as a second language. And I found working in mainstreams, there wasn't that much room for creativity, and I really liked the English teaching aspect of that with the creativity side. And I also wanted to travel. I wanted to go somewhere hot, and this was a great way to do it, so that's why I started.
To travel, basically. Where I lived in London, I just wanted to get out of London and see a bit of the world, and that's why I started, and I managed to do a bit of that, I think, yeah.
It was after I'd finished working, and it was originally thought to be just a year process, just to go out, do TEFL for a year and come home. But I enjoyed it so much that I continued going on and teaching. So it was just basically, what to do for the year after I finished work.
My first teaching job, I was working for a company teaching business English, so it was quite daunting because it was lots of executive types who were a lot older than me, and it was slightly intimidating, but that's kind of where I first learned how to fake it till you make it. The great thing about that, there was never any more than 4 people in my class, so it was, in terms of management and so on, it was pretty good.
My first teaching job was a mix of things, just being thrown in at the deep end in some ways, but I had a good mix of students, and the culture was a whole new culture living abroad, and it was rewarding in a way, looking back to how much stuff I learned, not just teaching but just for myself, just being able to go to a new country, travel, and meet a lot of new people.
My first teaching job was a bit chaotic, but fun. I was working in South Wales for a summer school for Spanish, Italian, French teenagers, and they were causing lots of chaos all around Swansea, but it was really good fun and I really enjoyed it.
It was a summer school, so teaching lots of teenagers, kind of they're here for 2 weeks to learn English and do sport and excursions and things like that. So it was really nice. It was kind of a baptism of fire, because as I was teaching them, I was kind of teaching myself and learning my trade, as you can say. And yeah, it was a good experience actually. And then I went on to teach adults and do other bits and pieces as well.
It was quite informal actually. It was in Ecuador. It was just doing a bit of one-to-one, and then I went on to Bolivia to do some work in an orphanage, teaching people there. That was great.
My first teaching job was really difficult because they wanted to do phonetics and I didn't really know what phonetics was. But I studied it and I learned, and little by little I got the grips of it, and it became great. And in fact, I really enjoy doing phonetics now in class.
Not good. I had a group of children on a Saturday morning, and I suppose the biggest problem was that I didn't have any resources. It was just me and the children, and I had to scramble then to get some resources for the following week.
I started teaching in South London many moons ago. My first ever class on my own was a Year 8 class, and my memory of that class is most of them were taller than me, which 5'7¼ isn't exactly difficult, and it really was. I had a head teacher sort of encouraging me, oh, you'll be fine, etc, etc. I walked in and had to give back homework to people who didn't do especially well, looking up at them, and that's a memory that's stuck with me for a long time.
Don't get bogged down with what you know about grammar and things like that. Those things will come later. Do the courses, learn the methodology, learn the right way to do it, and then you get into the classroom and you really do it and you kind of see it in practice, and you're always learning. So often you'll be in the classroom teaching something you might not be sure about yourself, and that's okay. You kind of fake it until you make it and you keep going, yeah.
I think just do a bit of research and then try and just go out and meet people. I think you learn a lot through actually just interacting with people and finding out what they want to learn. A lot of it's conversational, so just finding out what people are interested in and trying to tap into that.
The advice I'd give someone is make sure you have plenty of activities in your bag. Sometimes you plan a lesson and the students do it really quickly and then you've got nothing to do. So make sure you have plenty of activities, make sure you plan your lesson really well with extra stuff to do. And basically enjoy yourself, and always surprise your students in class by doing some kind of fun activity to get them motivated.
Don't be afraid of standing in front of a classroom. I mean, I'm quite a shy person. But I managed to do it. I do think that you can overcome your shyness. Grammar as well. I mean, I remember on my CELTA I got excellent in everything, and the comment was, apart from grammar, be an excellent teacher once she learns the language. Great. It comes with practice.
I would say wherever you go, teaching, TEFL, whatever you want to label it as, is about people more than it is the place. If there's one thing I've learned from years of being an expatriate, living here, there and everywhere, it is that people by and large are the same. So wherever I go, I see classrooms as much of a muchness really. Make sure in a language setting they walk out saying more than when they walked in, and you'll probably be fine.
Just go for it. Yeah, go for it.
I think the good advice would be to really think about what you want to do with it first. So where do you want to go? Who do you want to teach? What age groups do you like? What do you want to do? You know, hours-wise, that sort of thing. What environment do you want to work in? And then go for that, because there is so much opportunity within TEFL. I feel like you can be quite choosy, and once you know what you want to go for, you're going to be more motivated to get it then. That's the advice I'd give.
Basically, don't be scared. I think at the start there's lots of people that are sort of scared of parts of the world that they're a bit, you know, they've heard, oh, I don't know if I want to go there. Like, throw yourself into it. Don't be scared in the classroom. Just really, just know that the people are there to learn, but they're also there to sort of enjoy their time. And don't be as scared of things like grammar. I really was when I started, but you learn it as you go along. It's really good fun teaching it. And yeah, just go for it basically. Just don't have any sort of inhibitions, just throw yourself out there and do it.
I'd say keep an open mind. especially if you're going to be in a completely different culture that you're comfortable with, where you're coming from. And every experience, whether it's good or bad, is a learning experience. So even if you had a really bad time in a particular school or a particular lesson plan, you can actually just like learn and grow on that. And I mean, I don't think I change anything that I've done work-wise and throughout the years. I just kind of built on things to improve myself year after year.
I've taught in Spain and Italy and the Netherlands and Chile and Argentina and the UK.
I've taught in South America, so Ecuador and Bolivia and Peru.
I've taught English in France and in Portugal and in Spain. I've been living in Spain for 30 years.
I have travelled, as a teacher, I've worked in much of the Middle East. I've worked in quite a bit of Asia. I get quite a lot of work in Eastern Europe, which is where most of my overseas travel is nowadays.
I've taught English here in the UK, Spain, China and Poland.
Wales, if that counts. Started in Vietnam, then I went to Japan, then I went to Sri Lanka, then I went to Kazakhstan, then I taught in Iraq for a bit, and then I taught in Sri Lanka for a bit. Azerbaijan I've taught in, South Africa I've taught in, and now I live in Northern Ireland and I teach there and in the Republic of Ireland.
I've taught English in South Korea, in Thailand, Ireland, and I think a little bit of Japan for a bit.